This is the evening news for Monday, September 29, 2014. Making the headlines tonight, Yarracabra businessman in custody as police probe sexual molestation allegations made by Johnny Welchman Jr. The PPPC condemns child molestation, distances itself from Raphael Trotman's sex allegation scandal. Differently abled Matthew Ridge woman raped. T&HD employee killed in West Coast Demerara accident. Masked men rob Chinese businessman at Mahdia. And transportation to be provided for Guy Expo 2014. I'm Michael Young with the news. Let's get right into what's happening in the news tonight. As the Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change join with the People's Progressive Party in its calls for a government of national unity, the ruling party said it is pushing for a national democratic model of governance. Details in this report.
People's Progressive Party Civic General Secretary Clement Rohi said the party remains committed to the notion of shared governance. Speaking at Freedom House today, Rohi said given this current stage of social and economic development, Guyana is already experiencing national democracy.
The process of national democracy can only fulfill its full potential if all the political and social forces come to the table to determine the role which they would wish to play in this process of national democracy.
But even as the PPPC championed the cause for shared governance in Guyana, Rohi made it clear that it must be built on trust. He explained that a model of national democracy cannot be built in an atmosphere that is polluted with a high degree of distrust. Turning his attention to the APNU and AFC, Rohi said the opposition parties are now singing from the PPP's hymn book in an attempt to take credit for something they rejected from the inception.
This posture is nothing but another ploy to distract public attention from its internal problems and media attention generated as a consequence of damning allegations made against a senior executive of that party.
According to Rohi, Guyanese ought to guard themselves against those who continue to hinder the country's economic and social fabric by putting roadblocks in the path of developmental projects.
A Division Commander Clifton Hickins earlier today confirmed that the police had arrested one man from Yarracabra following sexual molestation allegations made by Johnny Welchman Jr. The commander could not confirm if charges would be laid against the man, but said that he was being questioned by the Criminal Investigations Department as the probe widens into the accusations made by Mr. Welchman Jr. You'll have more details on this story in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. Meanwhile, the People's Progressive Party Civics General Secretary Clement Rohi today strongly condemned all forms of child sex molestation as he again distanced his party from allegations which suggest that it was behind the damning accusations made against the Speaker of the National Assembly. In fact, Rohi roasted the media for their role and biased reporting on the matter.
Rohi said that government officials are often targeted in matters such as these since the party has become a major political player.
Shakespeare once said that something is rotten in the Kingdom of Denmark, and I believe that something is rotten in the Republic of Guyana, in this sense that whenever someone from the government is alleged to have been involved in one occurrence or the other, there are sections of the media that go after them with a vengeance. They want blood on the table.
Yes.
These things might not even be true, but mere allegations. And notwithstanding the fact that it's a mere allegation, they actually transform this into truism.
He said the table is oftentimes turned when a member of the opposition becomes involved in such scandals, as is the case with the Speaker of the National Assembly, even as he denied that his party had anything to do with it.
We are watching very closely to see how it will play out. And the issues surrounding pedophilia and child abuse has always been a matter of great concern for this administration. I'm not pointing fingers in any direction. I'm just saying, as a matter of principle, as a matter of policy, you recall Minister Manik Chan, when she was as Minister of Human Services, how aggressively she dealt with this matter. We passed several laws in the Parliament on it as well. Minister Webster is now aggressively addressing this matter too. So for the government as a matter of policy, this is for us an issue of grave concern.
Rohi reminded that the media has a critical role to play in national development and must take full responsibility for such in its reportage. The allegation brought before the Speaker Raphael Trotman by 22-year-old Johnny Welchman claims that he was sexually assaulted by Trotman while he was just 12 years old. The PPP's General Secretary used the opportunity to also strongly condemn any act of child molestation or rape, explaining that his party has no tolerance for such heinous acts.
The Alliance for Change says it is confident that its recent claims, which involves 3 Partnership for National Unity members of Parliament, will in no way injure the relationship between the 2 opposition parties, especially in light of the pending no-confidence motion debate against the government. Details in this story.
The party's leader, Kemraj Ramjatan, had over a week ago disclosed that the ruling People's Progressive Party civic government was seeking to buy out opposition members' votes against the no-confidence motion set for next month. While he had refused to disclose the names of the opposition MPs at that point, he had assured that the 3 members of Parliament were not members of the Alliance for Change. It was later revealed, however, that those members may be from the Partnership for National Unity. At the party's weekly press conference on Friday, Ramjatan was asked whether he thought that his revelations will affect his party's relationship with APNU.
Absolutely not. And it is from deep within the PPP that I got that information. I want to make it clear that indeed they want that as the option because they don't have any other option. And I thought it was good to bring it out in public.
Ramjatan elaborated, claiming that the information shared was in fact the truth. As far as the relationship between his party and the Partnership for National Unity goes, the AFC leader said he is not aware of any antagonism between the 2.
Quite frankly, APNU has maintained with me the engagement that we always had, and of course we're going to meet them again soon, in a couple of days' time, to deal with the no-confidence motion.
Ramjatan had related that he was well informed of government's plan to pay 3 opposition members of Parliament a total $90 million to vote against the no-confidence motion. That motion was filed early last month by the Alliance for Change when it declared that the ruling Donald Ramotar administration had failed to execute its duties responsibly, especially in relation to the unapproved spending of $4.5 billion by Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh. If debated and passed with support from APNU, the ruling government will be forced to dissolve Parliament, paving the way for national elections in 3 months' time.
AFC's leader Kemraj Ramjatan appears to be suffering from a bout of selective amnesia. Ramjatan is quoted in the embattled and controversial Kaitri newspapers and other sections of the media as denying ever having said specifically that the PPP was attempting to buy out APNU's MPs with a $30 million bribe in exchange for their vote against the impending no-confidence motion. In fact, he said he really, and I quote, cannot recall saying that it is only members of the APNU unquote. Today, the Evening News will play a recorded interview Ramjatan had with one of our reporters, Jomo Paul, where he said clearly that the PPP was not trying to bribe his MPs. Let's listen to the recording.
Hi, good morning, sir. This is Jomo Paul from Guyana Times. Jomo Paul.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm calling about the statement you made about the PPP offering MPs $30 million to vote against the motion.
Yeah, I made my statement already. I have nothing further to say.
So, the PPP is calling for you to retract the statement. Are you going to retract it?
Tell them to haul their ass. They are paying the people $30 million. That's their option, not to want to move no confidence.
And
They're trying to lie. I know the who and who paying it to. The scaps. So that's it. You go tell them to haul their ass. Kemraj, tell them to haul their ass.
So, the APN you're saying is not their MPs. Can you name the MPs? Can you provide any proof of
No,
this?
I'm not going to name them. Are you crazy? Why should I name the MPs? They know themselves. And the PPP know them.
So, is it AFC MPs?
It is not AFC MPs, and I wouldn't tell you who they are.
So, sir, are you going to make a report to the police station? As was
Why you make a report? I make a report to the Minister of Finance literally illegally disbursed 4.5 million. The police do anything? You go now and make reports about all the corruption that is happening. They do anything? I've been saying about the corruption about Surrendra for the last 2.5 years. You in the Guyana Times ever call me? Now the man is a fraudster.
In an attempt to defend his reputation as a long-standing politician, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic Clement Rohi, heckled at comments made by the APN News Shadow Home Affairs Minister Winston Felix, stating that he has just come upon the scene. Details in this story.
Rohi was at the time speaking at the party's weekly press conference on Monday, responding to comments made by Felix that Rohi is a blunder. At the APNU's recent press conference held last Friday, Felix had described Rohi's analysis of the opposition as a blunder. But Rohi had stated earlier that the APNU and the AFC seem divided on the no-confidence motion and local government elections. Rohi scoffed at the statement, pointing out that Felix is fairly inexperienced in the world of politics.
Winston Felix will be the last man on earth for me to pay attention to. The man is a Johnny-come-lately in politics. There's nothing Felix can teach me about politics. I've been in it too long. I've suffered in politics. I've grown up in politics. I don't want to go to the extent about DNA in politics. But trust me, I wouldn't bat an eyelid at anything that Felix says. I think he should look himself in the mirror when he's talking about blunders.
He said, however, that he is happy that the opposition is taking what was said seriously. Rohi had said that both the Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change seem divided on the pending no-confidence motion in the National Assembly. He said it is quite obvious that one party is heading east while the other is heading west, pointing out that he was waiting to see how the parties will both end up. The Alliance for Change last month had submitted a no-confidence motion against the ruling People's Progressive Party civic government, which if passed will pave the way for early elections nearly 2 years earlier than is constitutionally due. That motion has also received the full support of the APNU. But questions have been posed about APNU's real position, since although it is calling for President Ramotar to name a date for local government polls, it has also signaled its commitment to the no-confidence motion put forward by the Alliance for Change. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
A young motorist lost his life on Sunday evening after he was allegedly struck down by a car and run over by another at Anna Katrina, West Coast Demerara. Bisham Mohammed has details in this report.
21-year-old Rayshan Cook, also called Cookie of Lot 36 Crane Housing Scheme West Coast Demerara, was struck down at about 20 hours 40 and was left to die on the roadway. According to information received, the Transport and Harbour employee, who was stationed at Parika Stelling, was not wearing any helmet and was under the influence of alcohol at the time. He was riding his CG motorcycle bearing registration number CE4340. Cook was reportedly at the Region 3 Jamboree at Ifat Community Centre ground and would have left with the intention of changing his clothing to return. While he was heading home, he allegedly came into contact with a motor car, resulting in him falling to the roadway. He was subsequently run over by another car which was travelling closely behind. The Evening News caught up with a cousin, Timandra Baird, who was with him minutes before he was killed.
We went to Iflot going at West Regional Jamboree, right? And me there in the party with me nephew there with me nephew and all of we, right? He just come from work, so he tell we going to bed and come back. I go, he's up on me own spins and up down. I then there I get a phone call said that operation just there. I say, yeah, he's mad, yeah, this can't do that. When I got along to West Demerara Hospital, I get reached at the hospital June. The thing, the horse was already bringing me carry at Ezekiel. I went to Ezekiel, see, and that was it. He foot brake, all up a brake, and because he remembers he get hit by one car and the next one drive over, he face everything, damage up.
Jenna Henry and other relatives with whom he shared a close relationship explained the last time she would have spoken to the young man.
I went to Creek with me supervisor and stuff like that. The last call I get from, Cookie was calling. The last call I get from Cookie was like, "Mom, girl, what you doing?" I said, "Nambi, what you doing?" He said, "You going leg one." I tell you I lying down. He said, "You going leg one." So what you doing at leg one? Well, he's work at transport. And he asked me what I doing and stuff like that. Anyway, he said he going over to drop off a load and come back. I said, alright, good. And the credit like it finished, and there was it. When I got a call from me auntie, I went on the bridge coming home. There was like Rishon dead. Well, I hear that the two car was racing, and like one hit him, and then the next one run over him. But I get to see the pictures of him this morning, like how he went, and it wasn't nice at all.
The young man was taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. His body is at the Ezekiel Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. Both drivers are in police custody, assisting with investigation. Bisham Mohammed, Evening News.
Thanks, Bisham. If you have a news tip or a news story you would like our news team to follow, message or WhatsApp us and telephone numbers 680-9630, 603-117 or 617-2867. You can also call us at our office on 231-0382, 226-2102, 223-7230-1. A mother of 5 of Matthews Ridge, Northwest District, was allegedly raped on Tuesday last by a man in the village who had broken and entered her home. The 55-year-old woman is allegedly paralyzed on the right side for the past 2 years after suffering from a stroke. According to information received, the woman lives alone. On the night in question, the man gained entry into the house by opening a door located next to a window. One of the louver panes was missing from the window. The woman reportedly heard movement in the house and got up from her bed to inquire, but was reportedly pushed to the ground and assaulted about the body, including her face. After assaulting the woman, the assailant reportedly ripped off her underwear and clothing and committed the heinous crime. The perpetrator might have been under the influence of alcohol when he committed the act. A report was lodged at the Matthews Ridge police station, which led to the arrest of the man, but he was released after the police claimed that there was no evidence against him. He reportedly told investigators that the woman had agreed to have sexual intercourse with him. The relatives of the elderly woman are calling for justice and on the Guyana Police Force to investigate the matter thoroughly. This is the Evening News. More news after these messages. Welcome back. You're tuned to the Evening News. A Lower Pomeroon minor, Trevon James, was further remanded to prison for rape when he appeared before Magistrate Sunil Scarce at the Wakenham Magistrates Court. The 25-year-old man has been remanded until October 20. On September 29, he was further remanded when he made his second court appearance at the Charity Magistrates Court. James, who was charged for rape on August 25, was not represented by an attorney. According to police reports, on August 24, he broke into the home of a female and raped her at knife point. The victim made a report to the police and he was subsequently arrested, charged, and placed in police custody. In this report, we hear that government is looking at providing tourism incentives to operators to offset the high costs they endure.
The Ministry of Tourism sat down with the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana today to discuss the 2015 tourism budget. High on the agenda was the introduction of an incentive regime for tourist operators. According to Acting Tourism Minister Irfan Ali, the ministry has recognized that with the type of tourism product Guyana has to offer, there is a high cost to get to them, which is mostly in the hinterland region.
Tourism for us is a very expensive endeavor in relation to the type of tourism we offer and the placement of the tourism, river and savannas, interior location. And the sector has raised their concerns in relation to incentives that can be given to promote easier mode of travel and to acquire assets. In the acquisition of assets to benefit the sector.
Meanwhile, former president of TAG, Kit Nascimento, pointed out while Guyana has a different type of tourism product to offer, the sector is in dire need of incentives for it to compete with the Caribbean and Central America.
Are we therefore competitive We're not at this point in time. But we can be if the government, as the Minister has indicated, take into account the need for incentives, and they're applied to make us competitive with the Caribbean. That's really all we're asking for at this point in time, that the incentives which are granted make us competitive with our competitors in Central America and the Caribbean.
On the other hand, current President of TAC, Sean McGrath, placed emphasis on the need for such a regime to offset the needs of the sector.
We are an export industry, and just because nothing leaves the country doesn't mean we're not an export industry. We export our product, but our product doesn't leave the country, which is very unique to the tourism product. We earn hard currency, and that in anywhere in the world would classify you as being an export industry. Even in Guyana, there are incentives in place for export industries, and we would like to see that applied to us as well.
The ministry is expected to wrap up discussions and present their budget proposal to the Finance Ministry before the end of the week. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
China and Guyana on Saturday renewed their commitment to work together towards the development of the local health sector.
The two bilateral partners inked the MOU with the aim of increasing the levels of cooperation between the People's Republic of China and Guyana in areas of training, health services, and the infrastructural development. China's Health Minister Li Bin expressed gratitude on behalf of our government for the continued joint ventures being undertaken.
第一批华人到圭亚那已经有170多年了，两国关系自建交以来发展顺利。 高层交往频繁，政治互信加深。
Since 1993, China has deployed 11 batches, altogether 147 medical workers in the China medical team to work in Guyana. And so far, there has been 15 medical workers working in Georgetown and Linden.
The Memorandum of Understanding covers another 5-year period. Guyana's Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran underscored the need to expand several cooperative ventures undertaken in various areas.
The MOU shall enter into force on the date of its signature and shall remain in force for 5 years. The MOU shall be automatically renewed for successive 5 years unless one of the parties give the other party written notice of the termination of the MOU at least 3 months prior to its expiration. The completion of the present MOU will not affect the development and culmination of programs.
China's health minister is on a 3-day visit to Guyana. Several other agreements have been signed as the two countries deepen their relations. Over the past decade, China has fielded 11 batches of Chinese doctors and specialists to Guyana.
Health services continue to expand and improve at the Linden Hospital Complex with the most recent addition of a center for laparoscopic surgery now located inside the health facility. The center is sponsored by the National Health and Family Planning Commission of the People's Republic of China. An official inauguration ceremony held at the health institution on Sunday marked the commissioning of the center, although it has been in use for some time. Laparoscopic surgery, also referred to as keyhole surgery or minimally invasive surgery or band-aid surgery, is a new and advanced surgical technique whereby operations are performed a far distance from their location through small incisions elsewhere in the body. Chinese Ambassador to Guyana Zhang Lingmin, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdeo Prasad, Chinese Health Minister Li Bin, and the LHC Chairman Mr. Mortimer Mingo, a Chinese medical team, and other healthcare professionals within the health ministry were present to witness the simple yet significant ceremony. The news continues after these messages. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with the Evening News. Police are reporting that about 21:45 hours on Sunday, September 28, 2014, businessman Li Zhang, 62 years, of 111 Miles Madia, was robbed by 4 masked men, 3 of whom were armed with firearms. Investigations reveal that the man was in the process of closing his business at 111 Miles when the 4 men entered his business, held him at gunpoint, and proceeded to rob him of $3 million Ghana dollars and 1 ounce of raw gold. Police have since launched an investigation into the matter. A sickle cell specialist is touring Guyana with the aim of increasing the level of awareness about the sickle cell disease. Let's get more details in this story.
Sickle cell specialist Dr. Lola Uni is on a campaign to ensure that Guyanese understand the importance of getting tested for sickle cell or sickle cell trait. As a result, the London-based doctor has been visiting various communities and regions spreading awareness about the disease with the aim of ensuring that Guyanese are better educated from all standpoints with facts related to sickle cell.
I think it's important that the misconception that people have about sickle is still this notion of a black disease. I've got a child who's 9 years old, who's blonde and blue-eyed, who has sickle cell disease. Yeah? Sickle does not know anything about your ethnicity. Sickle does not know anything about your race. Sickle does not know anything about what your mom and dad's name is. It doesn't want to know whether you're a government minister. It doesn't want to know whether you're, somebody that lives in the ghetto. Sickle only knows your genes.
The sickle cell trait is the carrier gene for the sickle cell disease. According to reports, there is a 1 in 4 chance that 2 traits carrier can produce a child with the disease. The charitable organization Sickle Cell Trust Jamaica reports that the trait can be found in areas where malaria is rampant. Thus, areas in Africa, Saudi Arabia, Italy, and Greece also have high frequencies of sickle cell traits. The disease involves chronic pains, fatigue, and continuous treatment if not treated. There is no widely available cure, thus it is a lifelong disease. Bisham Mohammed, Evening News.
Every Guyanese will be given a chance to experience Guy Expo 2014 as transportation will be provided for persons living out of Georgetown. More details in this Royden James report.
Guy Expo 2014 promises to be bigger and better this year, as the Tourism Ministry has promised to provide transportation during the exhibition to ensure that all patrons residing out of town have an opportunity to see what Guyana has to offer.
We also would have learned from last year, our exit survey, that transportation for persons wishing to come from places like Port Moran, New Amsterdam, Bath Settlement, Mahaika, Tushin, Purika, Parfait Harmony, Bell West, becomes difficult for them to go back in the evening. So we have worked out a special arrangement with bus operators to have special transportation available to bring persons from those areas to Guy Expo and return them at 11 in the night at a fixed cost.
Tourism Minister Irfan Ali also explained that the motive behind the initiative is not only to get every Guyanese involved, but also to ease the traffic buildup.
One of the major issues we have is that of transportation buildup, vehicle buildup, and traffic problems. So on Saturday and Sunday, between the hours of 2 to 4 p.m., we will allow vehicles with 15 or more persons, free parking in the compound.
Guy Expo will be held on October 2 to 5 under the theme Transformation, Partnering for a Better Guyana. For the Evening News, Royden James reporting.
Worship in Spirit and Trust International Dance Troupe on Saturday evening took it upon themselves to embark on a street feeding program, as we hear in this report.
The initiative of this street feeding event stemmed from a scripture of the Holy Bible, Acts 20:35. It is more blessed to give than to receive. The activity started around 5:15 hours with the group saddling from their base, the Open Bible Scriptures Church, heading to the Starbuck Market where most homeless citizens congregate last Saturday. According to the senior director of the dance group, Sandy Ramnarine, it was the first time that the dancers had embarked on this venture. The group began to distribute their goodies at Parliament Building straight along the Berbice car park, where a number of homeless citizens could have been seen and benefited from this activity. Ramnarayan highlighted that the group had prepared approximately 36 boxes of homemade cook-up. She also mentioned that the group Ainava Company Inc., a Guyana-based juice factory, pitched in by contributing the beverages. Many of the homeless individuals were mostly seniors and were quite overjoyed to collect their dinner without having to beg. Siddhi Ramnath for the Evening News.
Residents of Pleasant's East Coast Demerara have raised concerns over the level of attention being given to them by the government, especially in regards to the legal acquisition of lands there. Details in this story.
The villagers claim, among other things, the failure of government to actively engage them in the decision-making process. The villagers claim that they have always been targeted by the government, who take away their lands and destroy their burial grounds.
Our children, we've got to possess our lands. We have families who are in need of these lands in the community, and in the dead of the night you find vehicles coming in and doing works. We don't know who is really responsible for it, or what we're asking for the government to do and the various subject ministers, the president, to look into this and for them to engage the villagers and work out amicably a plan to deal with this.
Speaking with this newscast, one villager pointed to the increasing cases of squatting in the village. He said this problem could be rectified simply with government intervention through the regularization process. The villagers said there will be significant mobilization within the village for a reclaim of their lands. He maintained that government should take the responsibility to engage the community so that an amicable resolution could be met.
Your regional and international news are next. You're watching the Evening News. Thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look at your regional and international news this evening. The Jamaican government has acknowledged that the outbreak of the mosquito-borne chikungunya virus is taking a toll on the country's education system, with reports of a significant increase in student and teacher absenteeism. While unavailable to give exact figures, Education Minister in Jamaica, Ronald Tiwaite, said schools in the corporate area and eastern parishes were the most affected. He said individual schools will have to put measures in place to prevent any major fallout in the administration of classes due to the outbreak. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Health Minister, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, on Sunday night called for a national response to the efforts to tackle the outbreak of the virus spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and with the telltale signs of the illness including joint pain so severe it can be hard to walk. Now, internationally, protests in Hong Kong are continuing after tens of thousands of people defied calls for them to dismantle their camps and return home. Demonstrations grew after police tried to disperse crowds using batons and tear gas in the early hours of Monday morning. Riot police later withdrew. The pro-democracy protesters are angry at China for limiting their choice in the Hong Kong's 2017 leadership elections. China has warned other countries not to support the illegal rallies. The protesters, a mix of students and members of the Occupy Central Civil Disobedience Movement, want Beijing to abandon its plans to vet candidates for the post of chief executive in the 2017 polls. They want a free choice of candidates. Until now, the chief executive has essentially been selected under a pro-Beijing mechanism. It's now time for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed at 8 hours 30 on Tuesday, September 30th for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 7 hours 45 on Tuesday, September 30th for a period of 1.5 hours. Join me on the other side of the break for your sport news.
presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the world of sport. But together, let's take a look at your headlines. Shiv Chandra Paul expected to join GCB Development 11 line-up for the final round. Raynaud Jeffrey wins Greaves Birthday Classic Cycle Meet. Thomas takes Courts 10K, and Calcutta Knight Riders script 13th consecutive win with 36-run victory over Dolphins. The news is brought to you with the kind compliments of Macor.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back. Let's have a look at your sport news in detail. Continuing his winning streak from the DeCinco cycling race on Saturday, Raynaud Jeffrey powered his way to win the inaugural Greaves Birthday Classic at the National Park on Sunday. Bisham Mohammed was there and he filed this report.
The young cyclist outshone other top-ranking national cyclists to win the first ever Alonzo Greaves Birthday Classic cycle meet with a time of 1 hour 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Following closely behind was Alonzo Greaves, while Marlon Williams sealed the top 3 spot. Hamza Eastman in 4th position, Christopher Holder 5th, Robin Prasad 6th, and Stefano Husbands 7th. Taking the preems in the race were Robin Prasad and Jamal John with 8 each. Stefan Osborne carried away 6, Alonzo Greaves 4, Raynaud Jeffrey 2, and Alberto Kalida and Hamza Eastman rode away with 1 each. The birthday boy also powered his way to claim the 2 super preems. However, in the 6'9" category, Jeremiah Harrison copped the first prize. Alexander Leong took the 2nd place prize, and Christopher Goring rode away with 3rd prize. In the 9-12 category, Sherwin Sampson crossed the finish line first, followed by Jaran Garbaran and Nicholas DeAndrade. The Evening News caught up with Jeffrey after the race. He admitted that he was out of form, but attacked where he saw necessary.
Well, the race was a little difficult because I'm now getting back in shape, training for Caribbean Championship coming up, and I'm just sitting in, waiting for the right move at the right time. Doing the teamworks coming into play, and thankful to all the guys who help out, and looking forward for the rest of the race.
Greaves took time to reflect on the race and more so give a sneak preview of his plans for the future birthday meets.
Well, it was very exciting. Then guys just going after the $2,000 premium every lap. It was very good. I gave them a little competition for just mix up the fun. So, you know, a little competition is good for the race. The cyclists come out and give me the support. In terms of the crowd, I know it have a lot of events today, so it didn't add a lot of people, but the cyclists come and support me, and everything was good. I'm thankful for my family, friends, and my sponsors who helped me pull off this race. My club president and the secretary for my club, them do a very good job. So hopefully next year going to be better. I'm going to get juvenile, junior, veteran, and Monte climber.
Little Jessica Mohabir and veteran rider Monty Paris were also given special prizes for the commitment shown in the sport.
Thanks, Bisham. Fresh from his exploits in the recent Test series against Bangladesh, veteran West Indies batsman Shivnarine Chandrapal is expected to join the Guyana Cricket Board's developmental 11 lineup for the third and final round of the Senior Inter-County 4-day tournament beginning tomorrow. The GCB developmental 11 will play Berbice at the Wales Community Centre ground. In the other third round game, Demerara will play Essequibo at the Georgetown Cricket Club ground. Meanwhile, after 2 rounds, Demerara topped the point standing with 28 points, while Berbice accumulated 22 points. The developmental 11, 17 points, and Essequibo at the bottom of the table on 7 points. Distance athlete Cleveland Ford ran away with the 4th edition of the Courts 10K on Sunday morning that ended in front of the store's Main Street branch. Tristan Joseph filed this report.
Thomas took advantage of a missing Cleveland Ford to win the event in 32 minutes and 56 seconds. Ford was missing due to chikungunya-like symptoms as Trinidad-based Guyanese Kelvin Johnson finished second in 33 minutes and 31 seconds, while Tyson Bentic was third in 33 minutes and 35 seconds. However, Thomas was in top form as he led the race from the start before finally breaking away from all competitors at Camp and Lamahar streets before cruising comfortably to the finish line. On the female side, Yulene Josiah Tanner won her 4th straight title at the event, clocking 38 minutes and 30 seconds. Andrea Foster was second in 41 minutes and 40 seconds, while Alika Morgan finished third in 42 minutes and 57 seconds. Matthew McKenzie won the boys' junior event, while Alicia Fortune won the women's masters, as Chantel Hines won the girls' juniors category. Ian Archibald won the masters men 40 to 55 age group, and Llewellyn Gardner won the men's masters 56 and over to complete the event.
Kolkata Knight Riders won their 4th successive game when they beat Dolphins by 36 runs in Game 18 of the Champions League in Hyderabad, and a stunning exhibition of brute and finesse took KKR to bat in first. 85 not out and 75 not out had raised the Dolphins' attack with unbeaten 50s and a 153-run partnership, the highest stand in the Champions League. In reply, Dolphins were restricted to 151 for 8, with Sunil Narine, the main destructive force, claiming 3 for 33 off of his 4 overs. The Champions League continues tomorrow with Lahore Lions playing Scorchers at Bangalore. That has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Monday, September 29, 2014. Please remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times for details of these stories and other news. I'm Michael Young. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.